surfing with AC/DC. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. This is kind of a follow-up video. I'm actually going to do two follow-up videos to a recent video I made called You Need All Four, and I was talking about how you need a Les Paul, Tele, Strat, and a 335. Now, there are two big comments I saw in that video that I want to kind of respond to, not in a negative way, I just thought it was a really interesting outlook. So obviously, you saw today's video, and that is why I don't want a guitar that does everything. And let me just kind of like add a little context here. I totally understand if you're a live guitar player and you can only take one guitar, obviously having the most versatile guitar is probably a pretty dang good idea. So I'm going to say, as far as me, a person who makes videos, who records a lot of music, does different session stuff, I like having a lot of different guitars, and I'll explain why. And this is basically just an excuse to make a video to try to justify having more guitars. But I wanted to kind of add some insight, because a lot of you guys were saying like, oh, why don't you just get a Variax? Why don't you get this guitar, this guitar? It can do it all. And I kind of thought, I was like, you know what? I really don't want a guitar that does it all. So I'll explain my side, and if you want to argue against it, well, go ahead. I just say, we ain't got to be nasty. We're still cool. We're friends, right? Alright, so here's the case of people who want to have a bunch of different guitars. My biggest drawback to having a guitar that, in my opinion, does everything, and I have one guitar here that I think could be a candidate for a guitar that can really cover the gamut, and I'm going to talk about it here in a second, and I love having the guitar. But why I like having different guitars, a Les Paul, why, like two Les Pauls, like why have two Les Pauls? Well, this Les Paul feels and sounds incredibly different from my Tobacco Burst one. This one has P90s, the other one has humbuckers. This neck is like completely different than the neck on the KM. It's so different, and it just has a different sound. Like this one inspires me in a different way. So, like I said, now I'm sure there's a guitar that could easily sound just like this one, just like my KM, just like a Tele, all that kind of stuff. But kind of the secret to the magic of the guitar lies in like what I said in the very beginning, is that this guitar feels different than that one. I enjoy the whole experience of a guitar. Like I said, and I completely agree that sometimes you don't get to take a bunch of guitars on tour or to a session or any of that kind of stuff. But I enjoy I think the biggest thing about guitars is I like guitar necks. Even more than the body shape is I love necks that feel different. Like it's something about the connection with my left hand grabbing the guitar neck. And there's some reason why I really connect with that more than anything. That's why I like even having like multiples of what, like I said, it might seem like, why do you need two Les Pauls? I'm like, they just feel different. They have a different sound. They feel different. Same with Teles. I have a couple different Teles. We have a couple different Strats. They are so different in the way that they play and feel. And that's always been my biggest case for it. Because I'm like, I want, the vibe of that guitar. Now, to understand, like, this is my Tele, and a lot of people will argue that this isn't like a Tele because of the bridge saddles. It's got individual saddles, not the three roller saddles. So, I've been told that makes a difference in the sound of it tonally, but overall, it's a Tele, and it feels like a Tele. Like, the neck is, very different from this one, different from my Strat. Now, like I said, what I did want to do is, kind of like I said, I talked about this guitar. I'm going to talk about all the guitars here for a second. So, but kind of an argument against myself. If there was one guitar, if I had a gig that really needed to do it all, I think a P90 Les Paul would probably not be the best choice. Even though I think dynamically it covers a wide range of stuff, the pickups are loud, especially live. They're really loud. Now, a guitar that I have that I think kind of can do it all is this one. So this is my PRS CE. There are plenty of higher end PRSs that I don't own, but I think that this guitar does a really good job of imitating a lot of guitars, or at least like kind of getting you in the ballpark to where it's like, okay, if I had to do a gig, this thing sounds really, really good. And obviously the humbuckers, a little bit more quiet. Now this guitar in particular, for one, it stays in tune really, really well. The trim bar is one of the best trimmed, for staying in tune. I've had on guitars that were quite a bit more expensive than this one, and this one just stays in tune. there's like a bounce to it that I like. Anyways, the thing that this guitar can do that's really, really good, because some people might be saying, you know, Les Paul with coil split. I've heard so many coil split humbuckers, and I just don't like the way they sound. These, I do like the way that they sound. So this has a, you know, coil tap at it, and it. Nope. Don't know what my hands were gonna try to do there, but they just didn't want to do it. But this one sounds really, really good. So I feel like you can kind of get in that telly. That telly vibe out of it by going to this, and this is a, you know, a video about PRS. This is about all of them. It doesn't quite sound like a telly to me, but it kind of has a little bit more quack to it. But as much as I like this guitar, I don't want it all the time. You know, I want a different feel. So like when I'm doing this thing, the PRS has its own vibe, and I do tend to play a little bit more melodically on a PRS. I don't know what this hand's doing. Just a roundness to the sound that I like that the other guitars don't have. And that's the humbucker. Now, like I said, I could split it, and then it kind of can do that stratty thing, where if you're it's not quite there. You know, like I said, you can hear it, like it wants to have that sound. It's like it's still a little bit fatter than a normal Strat. But it gets you in the ballpark. Now, like I said, I was trying to make it sound like a Strat, and this is kind of what happens to me whenever I'm playing a guitar. Like I'll play my Tobacco Burst Les Paul, and I'm like, oh, it sounds like a telly, until I play a telly. I'm like, oh, you know what? It sounds like it. It is not it. You know, if that makes sense. So again, like, so you heard this thing, coil split, kind of getting that Stratty sound to it, and then I'm gonna plug in a Strat. All right, so now a real Strat, you know. And the neck is so different. Everything about it's different. The bridge. Right away, I'm inspired differently. Like I said, it has a different vibe. Even though I think that the PRS covers it well. Like I think it would, you know, totally get you by on a gig. It's different. It has a different vibe to it. Now, the other alternative to the PRS, I think, would be something, you know, any of my HSS guitars, like the Friedman back there that you can see. This is only a 3-rack space, so I didn't grab it. And I keep using that one in video, so I'm trying to not use the same guitars all the time. But again, you know, I was playing with the PRS on that bridge pick. I'm like, oh, it has that telly kind of vibe to it, until I play a telly, and I'm like, oh, you know what? Telly still out tellies it, obviously. It feels so different. I mean, as I keep playing the wrong notes. So there you guys have it. What do you think? Is it a good enough excuse to have more than one guitar that does it all? Or do you kind of agree with me? You know, do you think that having different guitars that have different necks that are kind of more in the vein of that guitar? Because like I said, the PRS neck does not feel like a Strat neck, Telly neck, or Les Paul neck. It feels like a PRS neck now after I've had it for a while. And the necks are just something that I resonate with personally. So maybe you don't care so much about that. and you're just kind of like, nah, I'd rather just have one guitar that can just kind of run the gamut, and I totally think that's, you know, understandable and a good thing to do. But I know for me, I like different guitars, you know, that just do different things. At the end of the day, just an excuse to justify this to my wife. What else can I say? So other than that, guys, I'm gonna bounce out of here. I'll play you some rhythm here at the end on the old Telecaster, and just, you know, have a good rest of your week. So see you on whatever the next video is. Whoop!